Why do humans build? What are the psychological implications of architecture? Always, architecture has been seen as a reflection of its builder, its owner, or the community as a whole. It is emblematic of those who dwell among it, a symbol of a people, a period, or a place. But this is only partly true. It is more accurate to say that architecture shapes the minds and behaviors of those around it. Architecture changes people. Like chameleons, humans adapt to their structures. Everything is a factor into the psychological influence: the layout, design, shape, material, color, orientation. Whole art forms and cryptic sciences have been dedicated to the intricacies of architecture and its psychosocial, spiritual, and mental effects, such as geomancy. One type of architectural construct stands out more than most, and that is the chair. Deeply psychological are chairs and how they are used. Each setting, situation, and scene can make use of a chair in different ways. Take a bar as an example. They use tall stools with no back or armrest. This encourages talking and camaraderie, perfect to sell more drinks, which lowers the inhibitions, allowing for the stools to take over the minds, and its effects can clearly be seen in every rowdy crowd. A theater is different. The seats are deep and cushioned. The body is positioned, relaxed, and set in place to look ahead. Large armrests are added on either side. This discourages talking and focuses the sitter on the show or performance. An office chair will spin, recline, roll, adjust, anything that can stimulate the sitter into productivity and comfort so that work can be continued uninterrupted. Once again, the design is deep set with armrests. Focus is only on the work ahead. A restaurant may have formal tables and booths to give the sitters a sense of their own space. They are on a different level from the servers and closed off from sitters of other parties. A booth uses a bench, so the party is free to talk and interact with each other. A dining chair has a backrest, encouraging formal posture. Armrests exist, but are there to give the arms support rather than to close off the conversation. A different type of restaurant may use stools rather than tables and booths. This would put the sitters on the same plane as the servers, making a less personalized experience for an individual party, but allows for the whole restaurant to be open to each other as if everyone were friends. The wrong chair in the wrong setting for the wrong crowd will destroy a business or social relation or productivity. The right ones, though, are effective, psychologically manipulating the sitters or the crowd. Look at any bench, desk, chair, stool, car seat. Any place a human sits, there is a psychological component to be studied. Every color, design, pattern, etching, it all creates the thought form of the chair that will influence the sitter. The chair represents the ultimate antithesis of nature. The law of nature is movement. To remain motionless in the wild is to die. The chair challenges the very concept of predation. It mocks evolution as the chair defies all natural reason. The sitter, who has knowledge of his own mortality, contemplates all things. From the seat, man endows himself with knowledge of the past and thoughts of the future, while forsaking the present. Invention, art, novelty, human progress itself all owe debts to the chair. And the king of chairs is the throne. It is from the throne that the rise and fall of kingdoms is witnessed. All decisions of civilization begin and end on the throne. And what is the anatomy of a throne that should confer it so much power over man? The backbone of the throne is often tall, towering over the monarch who deigned to follow the sacred lineage as servants to the throne. This suggests that it is the throne itself where the divine authority is given to the king, for the throne is above even the emperor. In some cases, the throne is shorter. The monarch in this case values himself as being greater, the authority coming from the self. A throne is placed on a raised dais to look down on its subjects even as they stand. A canopy embraces the aura of the throne, setting it apart from the very material world it rules over. Only the finest materials are selected: gold and ivory, silks and velvets, expensive and royal textiles, handcrafted to exert its godly power. Nearly every civilization on earth used a throne. King Solomon's throne was ivory overlaid with gold and flanked by lion statues. Tutankhamun's throne was fine wood overlain with pure gold, with areas of silver and tiles of precious stones. Images of him and his wife fill the inner back. 2 lions were placed at the front of the armrests, as well as lion-like feet for the legs of the chair. On either side of the chair was a winged cobra wearing a crown. Charlemagne's throne, or the royal throne of Aachen, 6 steps led to a simple designed throne, resting on a podium, made of 4 plates held together by bronze clamps. The legend goes that it was taken from a slab of the Church of the Holy Sepulchre of Jerusalem. 31 kings of the Holy Roman Empire were coronated in the Aachen Cathedral, where the throne sits in an octagonal room. King Edward I commissioned a coronation throne to be built in the Westminster Abbey, built around the most holy Scottish relic, the Stone of Scone, or the Stone of Destiny. The thrones of the Tudors and the Stuarts modeled their seats after the chairs the Roman consul and emperors used. Queen Elizabeth II's throne was kept simple, showing solidarity with a post-war Great Britain. The famous Queen Christina of Sweden had a Baroque silver throne for her coronation. Emperor Napoleon's throne was unique to all of Europe, a round back and a simple, though ornate design. It signified his own political ambitions to be set apart. The design choice references the Holy Roman emperors rather than the medieval kings, revealing both his inspiration and ambition to be unlike any other European ruler at the time. William I of Prussia, Nicholas II of Russia, and Napoleon III would follow the design style of Bonaparte. In 1977, Bokassa would declare himself Emperor of the Central African Empire. Though it was a short-lived empire and an even shorter monarchy, the coronation mimicked Napoleon's, and the throne displayed glorious ambition with its giant golden eagle, a symbol used throughout history alongside the lion to convey power and authority. He was never taken seriously, and monarchies themselves had fallen out of fashion by this point. The throne was comical given the illegitimacy of an unrecognized ruler, and the intended grandeur backfired. Tsar Ivan IV used an ivory throne. In Japan, the chrysanthemum throne is the seat of the emperor. The throne of the emperors of Vietnam were referred to as the Golden Throne, and they were adorned with the Vietnamese dragon, a symbol exclusive to the emperors. The Phoenix throne was the seat of the Korean emperors. In China, imperial power was centered on the dragon throne, which was considered to be a living god. The lion throne is the last surviving throne of the Burmese Empire. The Dalai Lama of Tibet sits on a throne also called the Lion Throne. The Mughal emperors sat upon the Peacock Throne. The imperial throne of Iran is the Sun Throne. The oldest surviving throne in Europe was built into the wall of a ceremonial chamber room by the Minoans in Crete. Consistent with almost every ancient and modern culture, the throne was the seat of the gods, divine authority, or otherwise some ancestral dignity that was respected by all within the empire. Who could deny the kingship of one who sat upon such an obscene and magnificent display of wealth and status, power and security from the natural order? Indeed, the divine authority of the Catholic papacy is given only in ex cathedra, from the seat of the papal throne. New thrones had to be built to match the times, populace, and ambition. It represented more than the monarch commissioning it, but the idea of a kingdom, the soul of an empire. Careful consideration of themes, symbols, and motifs, as well as the materials and proportions of the whole chair. It was a meticulous process, and one that decided, as a living god, the course of a king and his kingdom. Millions have died for and because of the throne. Like a virus, the throne takes over and feeds off the mind of the sitter, and its subjects are compelled to listen to the psychology of the throne.